Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Friday Evening Chair Yoga. And tonight we are doing a little investigation into Qi Gong and incorporating those exercises or those practices within our yoga practice tonight, because there's a lot of crossover on the energetic fields, and it's really nice to explore these particular practices because they're all about opening and gathering and calming and balancing our energy. So let's begin sitting on your seat. Sit in a comfortable spot towards the edge of your seat so that you are encouraged to sit tall. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable. Closing your eyes or gazing gently downward, whichever you prefer. And bring your body to stillness, particularly if you've just rushed in from somewhere or if you are at the end of a busy week. Take this moment to step away from the other things going on around you and just make time, the 60 minutes, for yourself, for your yoga, for your energy. Notice how you're feeling. Any areas of the body that are talking to you, perhaps some louder than others. Even the act of noticing can encourage us to release tension or stress or anxiety, something we've been holding on to that we don't need. Notice one area of the body that is quiet, peaceful, and at ease. And then notice your breathing, the breath that you're breathing right now, how it's falling in its natural rhythm. Observing your breath without judgment, without the need to rationalize why it is this way, just observing. When you're ready, you can gently draw your navel in to deepen your exhalation. And then breathe into the sides of the body, the chest, the back. Breathing out slowly, deeply, engaging across your navel to breathe out completely. And then breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out slowly and deeply. And practicing a few more of these breaths, as they're particularly useful for breath awareness, but for developing that capacity of the lungs, and for releasing, for calming, for centering. At the end of your next exhalation, drawing your chin towards your chest. Feeling the effect of drawing the chin downwards. And then rolling the right ear to the right shoulder, the chin back to the chest, and the left ear to the left shoulder. Just going a little side to side, not forcing or pushing or pressing or overstretching, just moving, beginning to limber, beginning to feel the sides of the neck, the shoulders, any areas that need to be released across the upper back, chest. If you want to, you can roll your head in a full circle. Just take care not to go too far back behind the body. The weight of the head is quite heavy at the end of the spine. Whenever you're ready, you can reverse the direction. Just take your time, there's no hurry. And the next time your chin falls towards your chest, pausing there and returning your head upright. opening your eyes if they've been closed, freeing your arms to your sides and just rolling your shoulders a couple of times in each direction. And then I think we will stand up. So taking your chair, just placing it to one side and the support for your feet if you've got that. Any of the exercises we're doing today can be done sitting down as well. So there's no need to stand if you would prefer. And if you find that you need a rest for the legs during the class, feel free to sit down. We're going to start with the feet a comfortable distance apart. Doesn't matter where your feet are pointing, just place them down wherever is good for your hips and do a little light bouncing. So a little bounce into the knees. The knees don't actually have to bounce that much. You can bounce more with your upper body. And this is a really nice way to release tension from our soft tissues, but also our ligaments that hold the joints together. And so particularly if you have areas of the body that you find really hard to relax, a little bit of shaking, and you can do it in any way that feels good to you, is a very good way to get rid of that or to begin to release it, because sometimes we can't release it all in one go. If you want to, you can do a little shake of the head, you can shake out more of the hands, you can wiggle the hips, do whatever feels good to you. And then when you're ready, you can gather yourself in the center and we will do a little Kati Chakrasana. So we're actually going to come back to the Qi Gong variation of this later. But for now, we'll twist side to side. You can free your feet so you pivot on your toes. Feel the arms wrap around the body. They can touch the opposite shoulder in front, opposite hip behind if you like. A little firmness in the belly, just a touch. And letting your head follow your movement. So the head's really just at the end of the spine, going wherever your chest goes. If you want to, you can add a little soft bounce in the center, a bounce and twist. And then when you're ready, you can let your bounce go, simply continue pivoting. Then bring your feet to stillness and allow your body to sway back to steadiness of its own accord. And in your center, maybe just gathering your feet ever so slightly close together, noticing the effect of standing in stillness, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to do that with our arms as well. So cleansing breath, a deep breath in, reach the arms out and up. And as you breathe out, bringing the palms together at the center of the chest. Let's do 2 more of those. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then relaxing the arms down to the sides. And I'm going to consult my notes because I've written notes today, but they're too far away for me to see. There we are. Okay, so our first, because our first movement is called the rocking motion. And so I've even written down names and everything. So we're going to start with the feet a comfortable distance apart, a little softness in the knees. So you feel that your weight is in your heels rather than in your toes, which we tend to do sometimes when we're not aware of it. So weight into the heels. We're going to have the arms down by the side, and we're just going to bring the arms forward with the palms up, and then turn the hands and take the arms down and a little bit behind us. So turning the hands to swing the arms forward, palms up, turning the hands, palms down. And that's it. It's just a really simple movement. And almost like you were moving your hands through water. That slight resistance of the air, being aware of that. And if you want to, you can rock into your toes as you come forward and into your heels a bit more as you go down. So inhaling and exhaling. Just a slight rocking, inhaling and exhaling. It's just the weight of the body that moves. It's not the feet themselves. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's aim to do 5 more. Inhaling and exhaling. Find your own rhythm of breath. If your breath is moving differently, that's okay. Now I've lost count of how many we've done. I'm going to say, let's do 1 more after this. And then at the end of the movement, just bringing the palms up to the center of the chest and pressing the energy down. So just grounding energy at the end of the movement. And that leaves us ready to do our next practice, which is called Qi breathing. Checking out, okay. Qi breathing, same feet, although if you want to step the feet together in between times, you can. We're going to leave the knees a little bit of soft. And as you breathe in, take your arms out to the side, the palms are turned up. And as you breathe out, just bringing the hands down through the center line of the body to bring the energy down to center in your center. So breathing in, taking the arms out and up, palms are turned up. And breathing out, bringing the hands down, palms turned down. If you want to, as you breathe in, you can lengthen your legs, lift your chest. And as you breathe out, you can soften your knees, maybe just sink down just a touch more than a soft knee. Breathing in as you take the arms out and up, lengthening, opening the front of the body. Breathing out. Just a gentle bend into the knees, weight into the heels of the feet. Try to find your own rhythm of breath. Perhaps you can explore a continuous breath here. Continuous movement, continuous breath. We're going to do 3 more. That's great, guys. I can see on screen here everyone doing lovely, slow, steady breathing. Great arm movements too. Let's do our last one together. And at the bottom of the movement, just simply perhaps stepping your feet a touch closer together to bring yourself into a more contained space in the center. And I'll look at what we're doing next. Oh, painting with light. So painting with light is Susan's favorite from last week. I just didn't know what it was called, and this is what it's called. So from the center, we're just going to step the feet a little bit wider. And this is the one where we have our hands really nice and relaxed, elbows nice and soft to the side, and we draw the backs of the hands upwards and then float the palms of the hands down. And it all happens in front of the body. So unlike our first movement, the rocking motion, where the hands went back behind the body, this is all in front of the body. Again, if you want to, you can lengthen your legs a little as you inhale the arms up. And exhale, soften the knees, weight in the heels as you sink the hands down. But you don't have to do that extra bit if you don't want to. So find your rhythm of breath. Again, a continuous breath. With a continuous movement. And if you want to, you can think of your fingers as the bristles of a brush with which you are painting energy in your energy field, painting light here. I have no idea if that's what you're supposed to do in Qi Gong, but it seems like it would be the thing. Let's do 3 more. This very focused work becomes like a meditation, very mindful movement, breath coordination, calming, and this particularly is said to be very good for insomnia. At the bottom of this movement, bringing your palms up, turning the hands and just pressing the energy down into the center, grounding it after our work. And then if you want to, you can step your feet towards each other. We'll take a moment. And if you need to, if you get the sensation of real warmth in your hands, you want to ground it somewhere on your body, you can. I get that after a while, my hands get very full. So just grounding it wherever it feels good. We're about to do something called opening the energy gates. So this also is a grounding motion, I assume, because of what we're going to do. So just stepping your feet out a little wider again. And for this practice, we start with the arms wide. And we're going to inhale here. And as you exhale, draw the arms across the body. It doesn't matter which arm crosses over, like you were giving yourself a hug. And then we're going to breathe in as we open the gates again. And then cross the arms the opposite way as you breathe out. So don't worry too much about that, crossing the arms opposite sides. But if you can, then that's fine. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. See if you can find that continuous breath and movement again. And you don't need to be super, super slow, but find the rhythm that suits your breath. And this motion is really good for expanding that space across the chest, which sometimes gets a little short if we do a lot of sitting, but also for creating a gentle movement through the shoulders that's very nurturing, helps us to maintain our muscle tone and our muscle function. And we're going to do 2 more to each side. Very good. So just 1 more to each side. If you're going a little bit quicker, that's okay. You can rest after you've done your 4. And if you need a little bit of extra time, you'll have it when we are centering ourselves in between. So after you've done your last motion apart, just bringing the palms to the center, taking the energy down. It doesn't matter if you've paused in between, and we're going to step the feet closer together as well. And again, if you need to, you can ground yourself wherever is good. Smashing stuff. So our next Tai Chi practice is called Heaven and Earth. And we've done a variation of this before, and I believe that it can be done in different ways, but we're going to do the one that I've been researching tonight. So for this, we'll take the feet again, just that little bit apart, a little softness in the knees. We're going to start with our palms facing each other in the center, and then stretch the left palm up, and the right palm down. And then we'll bring the hands back through the center to face each other and go the opposite way, stretching the right palm up and the left palm down. So we come back to center. We're going to inhale, left hand up, right hand down, just pressing the palms away from each other. Exhale, back to center. Inhale and stretching the hands apart, palms facing out. Exhaling back to the center. The hands don't touch as they pass, they just meet and move past each other. Exhaling back to the center. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now, if it feels a bit easier, you can do a more diagonal. Inhaling, so because it's slightly easier on the shoulders to be a bit wider from the center, and exhaling back to the center. Inhaling apart and exhaling to center. So don't be worried if that is a motion that feels more comfortable than the straight up and down. We'll do one more to each side. We started with the left hand up and the right hand down. When you come back to the center, just again, taking the energy, pressing it down towards the floor, and stepping your feet closer together, allowing your hands to relax for a moment. Very good. Smashing. I'm going to surreptitiously glance at my notes again. It's not very subtle, is it? But I just want to make sure that I'm getting it right. So I've written some things down, and that's all good. So this is called a tree sway. And for this, we're going to have our feet a little bit wider apart than we have done to date. So for this movement, we bend one knee a little, taking the weight into that hip, but without taking the feet off the floor. You can turn your toes to point out if it's easier. So say we're bending the left knee and taking the weight over the left leg. We're going to reach the left arm over the head. So the hand is almost touching the head, but not quite, and reaching the right hand out to the side. And then we're going to shift the weight to the opposite side and shift the arms as well. So there's maybe a little twist as we go from side to side. And if anyone prefers to do this sitting down rather than standing up, you can. We're going to inhale on one side, doesn't matter which, and exhale on the other. Tree sway. Inhaling on one side and exhaling on the other. And you don't have to shift your weight very far if that suits you better. A more subtle movement is okay. And this movement is very good, not only for the upper body, the back and the shoulders and the chest and the arms, but also for the lower body. So let's do one more to each side. Although I seem to now need to do another one to the opposite side. When you feel that you've done balance, coming back to the center, centering your weight in the center, just bringing energy down through your center. And then gently stepping your feet towards each other. Taking a moment, just at this point in the practice, observing the effect of practicing in this way. Perhaps you can feel the energy in your hands. You might want to experiment with that spongy feeling between the palms of the hands to see if you can sense your ball of energy here. But it doesn't matter if it's not there, it's no problem at all. Okay, so gathering the Qi is the name of our next practice. And for this, there's a little sort of forward bending. So I thought we would do our downward facing dog, our chair down dog, just to stretch out the back of the body a little bit and give us a slightly longer line to work with in our posterior chain, the back of our body. So hands onto the back of your chair, walking your feet away, and just soften the knees and lengthen your tailbone back behind you. Now here, you might benefit from just drawing the navel gently in and swaying your hips from side to side. That's a really nice way to lengthen one side of the low back and then the other. Or if you prefer in the center, you can lengthen one leg and then the other. And you might find that also pressing into the hands and rotating a little through your upper body is useful too. Whatever feels good to you. And when you've done that, in your center, looking towards the chair and just walking your feet in to find yourself back at the chair in your center. Fantastic stuff. So I'm going to demonstrate this move sitting down and standing up. So gathering the Qi, we have the feet apart. You bend down, so just watching, you bend down as if you were picking up a very light ball and then draw it all the way up through the front of the body and then float the arms down to the side. And as you bend down, you bend the knees and take the weight back behind you so that your back stays quite straight. A bit like the squatting that we've been doing in our lessons on Wednesdays. So if you want to do this on a chair, no problem at all. It's a perfect one to do here. Sitting on the chair a little bit, just leaning slightly forward, keeping the back nice and long and the chest open to gather your Qi in the center, bring it up and float the arms down to the side. Whichever of these options you feel would be best for you. I'm going to do it standing because why not? Awesome stuff. So we're going to have the feet a little bit wider apart than we have done. Perhaps a little turnout in the toes if that suits your hips. I know it suits mine. So now there's breathing to do with this. So we are going to inhale here. Exhale as we lean forward to gather our Qi. Inhale as we draw it all the way up. Exhale the arms down to the sides. And pause, inhaling here. Exhaling, leaning forward to gather the Qi. Inhaling as you draw your ball of Qi, of energy up. Exhaling the arms down. And inhaling as we pause at the bottom of this movement. Exhale, weight into the heels. You don't have to come very far forward. Inhaling, gathering your ball of Qi all the way up. Exhaling the arms out and down. Inhaling as we pause. Exhaling, weight into the heels, firm in the belly. Inhaling, taking that Qi all the way up. Exhaling, arms down to the sides. Inhaling. Exhaling, let's gather the Qi. We'll do 2 more. Inhaling as we reach up. Exhaling, arms around the body, down to the side. Inhaling as we pause. Last one. Exhaling, bending slightly forward. Inhaling. Exhaling, floating the arms down. Inhaling as we pause. And then we're going to again just bring our hands to our chests and take the Qi and press it down, grounding it. And then bringing our feet back towards each other. Fantastic stuff, guys. So just taking a moment, if you need a moment, it feels slow and steady work, which sometimes people interpret as being without effort, but actually there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of movement and muscle activation going on here, and all of the very, very deep breathing. Remember last week what we said about deep breathing being the best medicine in the world. Okay, so for our next practice, which is called, what's it called? Oh, circling the globe. We're going to take the feet comfortable distance for you. It doesn't need to be particularly wide. And we're going to bring our palms to face each other in the center. And just as we've done in other times in class, you're going to use your hands to describe a ball in front of you. So we're going to just start with making the hands rotate through the air as if you are holding a ball in your hand and just turning it one side on its axis up and down. There we are, that's the easiest way. And then we are going to take our left hand on top, right hand on the bottom, just turning to the right. And we're going to shift through the center, turning the arms the opposite way to turn to the left. And we're going to shift through center, turning the hands the opposite way to shift to the right. So there's a little twist here. And if you want to, you can pivot on your toes and soften one knee. And if you prefer, you can simply twist from your waist, pivot from your waist. Whichever you feel most comfortable with. We're going to inhale on one side and exhale on the other. But don't worry if the breath coordination is a step too far. We are just learning these movements. Inhaling on one side, exhaling on the other. I would say that this one is the one I've found hardest to coordinate myself with the breath and the movement together. So if you're managing at home, well done. And we're just going to do one more to each side. And when you're ready, coming to center, just taking the hands, pressing the energy down, stepping your feet together again. Very good. So we've only got 2 more practices to do before our final meditative pose. And this one we have done in class before. And so I call it bowls of water, but apparently it's called pearl in the hand. There we are. Okay. So we have done this before to warm up our shoulders, to do a little bit more movement. I'm going to take the feet quite far apart. And let's start with the left hand first. So turning both palms up, you're going to imagine there's a pearl in your left hand. You reach the left hand to the right as if you were showing your pearl to someone. And then as you turn back to the left, the arm goes out to the side and up, keeping the pearl in the palm of your hand, turning the fingertips round towards the body and then under your arm and back to center. So I know this is a tough one to coordinate, so if you need to watch again, that's no problem at all. We're showing our pearl to somebody on our right. Do you like my pearl? Yes. And then we take the pearl out to the left, just a little twist, a lift of the arm behind you. The hand comes over the head as the fingertips turn towards the body, and then underneath the arm and back to the center. I'm going to do it 2 more times on this left side. So showing your pearl to someone on your right, keeping the pearl in your palms, you turn to the left. Let the arm continue the movement up and over the head and turning the fingertips round the back towards the body and centered by the side. Last one. Turning to someone on the right to show them your pearl. Moving back to the left, letting the left arm go around behind you, over the head, underneath your arm, and back to center. Don't worry, Susan, it comes with practice. Okay, so now we've done the left side, let's do the right. So we're going to take the pearl in our right hand, show it to someone on our left. I'm actually acting this out like, do you like my pearl? And then back to the right. Just let that right arm carry on behind you. Keep your palm quite flat if you can, turning the fingers back towards the body, and then underneath the arm and back to center. Show somebody your pearl on the left, and then take the right hand round to the right. You can twist a little firmness in the belly as you take your arm over your head, underneath your shoulder, and back to center. And if you're doing something that doesn't look quite like this, it's fine, it doesn't matter. It's all about the movement. So we're just trying to get a little bit more movement through the shoulders as we go. We'll do 1 more on this side, showing your pearl to someone on your left, taking that pearl out to the right, reaching your arm behind you and over your head and twisting underneath your arm to come back to center. And now we've done the pearl in the palm on the left and the right. We're going to do both hands together. So this, if it just doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter. But if you can, keeping your palms just as if they were holding a little round ball, taking the arms out to the side, reaching them around so the fingertips point behind you. They point towards each other over your head. As you bring your hands down, the elbows come up so you can go underneath the arms and bring the palms back to the center. Let's do 3 more. So taking the arms out to the side, fingertips point back behind you as the arms go up over the head, fingertips point towards each other, and then lifting the elbows, plonking the shoulders at my line as you bring them back together. See if you can do these last 2 a little bit more swiftly, trying to keep your palms as if you were holding a pearl in the hand. And you can feel the way that the torso responds as well. We'll maybe do just 1 more with the openness of the chest when you're doing both hands together. When you come back to the center, turning the palms down, pressing the energy down through your center to ground, stepping your feet towards each other. Taking a moment. That was a little bit more vigorous for our shoulders, but still pretty good. Okay, so our final practice before our meditative practice at the end is called the propeller, and it's very like Kati Chakrasana, but it's not quite the same. So we're going to take the feet nice and wide, and we turn the palms upwards, and we're going to inhale as we turn one way and exhale as we turn the other, but the feet stay steady. So inhale one way, exhale the other, little firmness across the belly, inhale one way, exhale the other. Inhale and exhale. As you move side to side, you can feel the feet responding to the movement. It's very good for releasing tension through the back of the body, as we know, but try not to overdo it. So we're not trying to over twist here, just twisting one way and then the other. Very good. We're going to do it for about another 30 seconds or so. If you've had enough, that's okay, you can rest. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, bringing the palms to the center and pressing down through center. And then here, without bringing the feet back towards each other, we are going to do a posture called hugging a tree. And it's our meditative posture. So a little softness in the knees, you can do it seated if you prefer. Don't allow the fingertips to touch, but imagine you're holding a tree in front of you. I should just do this sideways on. Center your weight into your heels, little softness in the knees, they don't have to be very bent. And just feel the presence of great energy between you and the palms of your hands, around which you're wrapping your arms. You can close your eyes or gaze gently downward if you prefer. You can imagine that you're hugging a tree if that is what floats your boat. And then whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands back to center. Turn the palms to press the energy down through your center. Step your feet towards each other. And we are going to come to sitting to ground ourselves. But if you want to ground your energy into your center, you can just rest your hands onto your abdomen. Feel their warmth, feel their vibration, and allow that to nurture you in the center of your being. Awesome stuff. So we can do a little bit of tapping before we sit down, which might be quite useful. We'll do it sitting down, just as good. Just as good. Okay, so if you want to have your relaxation things ready, then you certainly can. I think a jumper alone will be enough for me today because it is quite warm here and sunny finally. Which is great. So as we come to sitting, just making sure that you feel centered and that you feel supported in whichever position you've chosen. And we're going to start with some arm tapping. So if you stretch your right arm out in front of you, palm up, we're just going to palm down. Let's start palm down. We're just going to tap up and down the arm, a little tapping. Doesn't need to be anything much. You're not trying to whack yourself. It's gentle tapping. Up and down the arm. And then we'll turn the palms up and do the inside of the arm, up and down the arm. And the palm of the hand if you want to as well. Other arm. So left arm, just tapping up and down. This is very good for circulation, and it's very good for our energetic system. We're going to turn the palm the other way, tapping the inside of the arm. And there are all different kinds of tappings that you can do. This is a little bit like acupuncture, acupressure. Very good. And then here we're going to lift the right arm and just tap underneath the armpit on the side of the rib cage. It's a bit more difficult for girls because we've got boobs, but if you want to tap towards your chest and it doesn't feel uncomfortable, you can. We'll do the opposite side as well. Lifting the arm, just tapping underneath the armpit on the side of the rib cage. If you don't have assets here at the front, then you can tap across your chest a little bit, just a little bit to the side. Very good. And then we're going to tap underneath the chest on the sides of the ribs and on the bottom of the rib cage. We might need to stand up for the next bit. So we're going to tap also on the abdomen a little bit lower. And then on the groin area, just where the legs meet the body. And then this one you can do if you want to, you don't have to. So here you tap down the outsides of the legs, little soft bend, and then up the insides of the legs. Come back to the tapping at the top of the legs, down the outsides of the legs, and then up the insides of the legs. Take care not to strain your back. We'll do it one more time, tapping first at the groins, down the outsides of the legs, up the insides of the legs. And then from here, we're going to tap the buttocks, which we definitely can't do sitting down. Tapping the buttocks. Very good. And then we can sit down again. I'm going to use the left hand to tap the back of the right shoulder. That space behind you. And then the right hand to tap the back of the left shoulder, or in that general direction. And don't be overly concerned about it. Very good. And then we're going to tap the back of the head just a little bit. And again, it's gentle, it's not anything overly stimulating. And we can tap the top of the head just really gently, not over the crown, just to the sides. We're going to come down towards the ears and then massage your ears. And it doesn't matter where you touch them. There are so many energetic meridians finishing around the ears. You can massage the lobes all of the ear, the insidey bit, the outsidey bit, just where the ears join the head in front and behind. Nice. Maybe finishing with a gentle pulling of the lobes. And then taking your hands to tap just underneath your eyes. Fingertips, not hands. That would be cool and stuck in your face. So just underneath the eyes. You can move your fingertips towards your cheekbones. And then coming down, we're going to tap the top lip. And then the bottom lip. And then tapping along the jaw, down the sides of the neck. We're going to tap just underneath the collarbones. So with the fingertips just underneath the collarbones. This is part of the kidney meridian, which is associated with Jing, the sort of vitality of life. And then the sternum, that center space. So you can, you don't have to do that. You can do this with one hand if you don't want to do it with both, that's okay. And then around the thyroid, so just around that hollow in the throat at the top of the chest, a general tapping in that sort of circular motion. And you can go in both directions. When all of that is done, just rest your hands anywhere that feels good, and perhaps over your chest or over your abdomen. And we're going to take ourselves into relaxation from here. So you can relax yourself back in your seat, resting your hands. We'll take a few deep breaths and exhale through the mouth. So closing your eyes, deep breath in, sighing as you exhale. Deep breath in. Let all the effort go. A deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. And then last breath in. Surrender down into your seat and the floor. Allow your breath to fall into its natural rhythm and fall away into quietness. Take your awareness to your forehead. Feel it soften, the space between your eyebrows spreading. The area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Notice the sensations in your body from your practice, from your tapping. Notice that vibration, that thrumming of energy in your system. Now all balanced and energized and flowing much more readily than it was before. Notice your breathing and finding perhaps that your breath is automatically in a long, deep rhythm. And if it isn't, encouraging it towards that slow, steady rhythm that we found in our practice. Focusing on breathing in peace and breathing out love for the remainder of relaxation. Breathing in peace, breathing out love. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your hands and your feet by wiggling your fingers and your toes and maybe rolling your wrists and your ankles. When you feel ready, take a deep breath in. Yawn if you need to, and stretch the body in any way that feels good. And in your own time, you can gather yourself back to your center, resting your hands over your heart. And just make note of the positive changes that have happened in the last 60 minutes. Perhaps you feel a little lighter inside, a little warmer. Perhaps you feel a little easier in your body and your breath. And all of those little by littles will add up over time and practice to extra awesomeness in the future and right now. So when you're ready, you can give yourself a gentle smile. Blink your eyes open. Namaste, guys. Thank you for joining me and for putting up with my not actually qualified Qigong instructor demonstration of Qigong. I hope that it was okay. Hope it finds favor. And I will share with you the practices that I've based this on as well. Namaste.